I'm going to go over a few things on Stellaris. First one to go over is go to Properties and go to Installed Files, go to Browse. We're going to look at Stellaris' directory. First thing we're going to open is Common Folder. We're going to look at Common Folder. We're going to look at Interface. We're going to skip Interface actually. Might look at Graphics. And let's go with we'll just go with those for right now. And then when things pop up, I'll show you. First step is we're going to look at species class. Species classes, we're going to look at 00. We're going to open that up. And I'm not going to go over too much of this, but if you were to create your own species class, this will be your species class variable. This is your archetype. You would want to change this archetype to something you want. You could keep it biological if you want to use the biological traits or lithoid traits, whatever you want to use, be right here. And this is what we're going to go over, is biological. So if I were to go to species archetypes, open this one up real quick, we'll see that it requires two globals. We got a global trait points and a global max traits. So if you were creating your own mod, you could use these, or you could create your own traits. Then you're all set, because then your max traits are right here. Your species traits are right here. So you're capped at 2 at the start, and you could get a max of 5. If you want to go around that, you just give a negative point somewhere in the game with these traits, and then you could expand on it. So if you want, your special traits of like how robot max traits are and whatnot, you just create your own variables and what you want to set it to. How this is 0, this is 4, and so forth. So that just means that they don't get any traits at the start, but they will eventually get 4 traits. That's how you would create your archetype. And once you create your own archetype, you will have to create your own traits. So let's go to traits in the common folder. If we look at, let's see, species traits right here. And if we notice, I'm already at a spot called trait extremely adaptive. This one requires biological right here, allowed archetype. You would essentially just copy this and work with it. So you could change your opposites. You don't need opposites. Those are just saying, hey, these are opposites of this. This one gives you pop environment tolerance. What's the opposite of this would be that it gives negative tolerance. So it's doing something terrible for you. And that's the opposite. It's self-explanable what it's saying right here. Merge, remove. You got genetic traits you can add, and so forth and so forth. So those are key if you want to add it after the game as well. So how much energy it costs for the slave cost. This is where you would change it if you're creating your new archetype. And this is how you create your archetypes for your class or your species class if you're creating one. Once you do all that, then you can move on to your icons for this trait, right? So the icons is, I believe it's hard coded. You don't have to do anything special other than go into your graphics, icons, or interface, icons. So many folders, I get so distracted. And then we're going to look for traits. Here it is. And then you see trait adaptive right here. I think that's the one I just showed. I could be 100% wrong. Yeah, it's not the same one. So I'm just hit search. And then here it is, a trait extremely adaptive. I'm in the right location, but I just wanted to pinpoint where exactly it is on this directory. So it's right here. So all we have to do is create your own trait and then name it how it's named. Use the trait underscore and then whatever name you want to use. Your modding technique, your scheme, perfect. Add it. Make sure it matches 1-to-1 for here, and then it's going to show up in the game. That's it. That's how easy it is. Just know this modifier is what the immediate modifier is going to give you for your bonus when you have this trait for your species and how they work and how they operate. And that's the key to creating a trait, your species class, and your archetypes. I'm also going to put a link down below of what modifiers you could possibly add, or just look into it. There's a lot of it that won't go into it, but it has a lot of good tools that you could use. I also forgot to mention for the traits, we will also need to make a localization so that way it doesn't show like trait extremely adaptive. I'm gonna look at my mod right now. Is you just have to create a localization folder, English. As long as you have a capital I underscore English for your text file, that's all you would need for it. So it'll be like 1 underscore English for this. So it's different than what it is on the file. And all we're doing for the traits is, for example, is putting the trait variable name. Needs to be 1-to-1 what we were talking before, and then we need an underscore desk with this :0 for each one, and that's it. This is going to be your description of it. This is just going to be the name and scheme of it. So instead of seeing this on the trait, it's going to say Aquarius. Instead of this being a null or some description of it, when they hover over it, it's going to say the goddess of water provided the ocean for man. That's it. As long as you have the quotation marks on these two, you're not going to have any errors. That's all you would need with this one English. And that's it. Good luck coding.